Okay, hello from Paris, and what I'm reporting right now is one of the biggest wins that India have registered here at the Olympic Games, and that is Lakshya Sen knocking out Jonathan Christie, the world number 3, out of the men's singles here at the Paris game. Remember, if you've been watching our coverage, what can I say other than the fact that we told you so? Not many people had picked Lakshya to go out of this group because only one person was going to go out of the 4-member group, which eventually became a 3-member group, and everyone had picked Christie to go through. But we here at Sports Today had said that there is a good chance that Lakshya will actually beat Christie and go through. And why is it that we said that? We'll try and explain that as well, even though you take a look at the overall record between these two before this game. 5 games that they had played, 5 matches that they had played, and 4-1 the record was in Jonathan Christie from Indonesia in his favor. And why is it that nobody was giving Lakshya a chance? Was simply because 4-1 is the record, but the only time Lakshya beat him was in their first encounter. That was way back in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, so that's a good 4 years ago. So in that sense, the last 4 encounters Christie had beaten him, so that's why I think nobody was really giving Lakshya a chance. But why is it that we picked Lakshya to beat that? And there are 2 reasons behind that. I'll get to Lakshya's game today, which was outstanding, some fascinating insight from that game coming up. But why is it that we'd pick Lakshya to do that? On 2 counts. That yes, leading up to the games, or at least the last 2 years, it did seem like that Lakshya wasn't in great form, which is why many thought that he wouldn't be able to beat Christie. But just a few months before the games were to start, we started seeing glimpses of Lakshya really getting back to his best. We heard from Vimal Kumar, his coach, Prakash Padukone, his coach, saying how they are ensuring that he peaks at the right time. And that's exactly what we were witnessing just leading up into this Olympic Games. So that was one of the reasons. And the other reason, and the more important reason, is that I thought that Christie, just leading up to this this tournament, if I'm not mistaken, he's also the current All England champion. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to check on that, so don't put a gun on my head and hold me to it. But just leading up to this tournament, he had shown a bit of a dip in form. And then I did see them in the previous matches, and remember how Lakshya before this encounter, the third opponent, he dismantled him in straight games. Christie, a much lower ranked opponent that he came up against, Christie struggled, and it went down to 3 games. So all of those things put together, I had thought that Lakshya will pull through, yet it was a big task. So let's take a look at what is it that he did right today. I mean, firstly, I'll be honest, even though I picked Lakshya to win against all odds, I still thought that this will go down to 3 games, because that had been the trend between Sen and Christie before this. Most of their encounters, even though Sen had been on the receiving end, most of their encounters had gone to full 3 games. So even though I picked Lakshya to win, but I thought it will go down to 3 games. But the fact that he's won it in straight games tells you how good he is at the moment and how much of a dip there has been in form for Christie. It didn't start off on a great note. 5-0 at one point, 8-2 at one point in the first game, and you thought that's done and dusted. All the things that you're expecting Sen to do may not really turn out to be that way, because that's exactly how the match started. But then I spoke to Lakshya Sen right after the match was done, and he said that firstly the wind, there was a bit of drift on my side at that time when we started, so I was finding it difficult to get used to that. That was one reason why he started to trail. And secondly, he said that Christie started off aggressively, and for me to understand his game plan, it took me first 5-6 points, and then I kind of got a hang as to what he was doing, and from there on then settled into the rhythm. Settled into the rhythm, and then he tried to perform in the best way possible. So that's the reason he was slow off the box, but after that he was outstanding. I also thought that in the first game it was going close, and then Lakshya halfway stage had taken a substantial lead, but then when they came back after that halfway break of 11 points, then Christie took some lead, and if I'm not mistaken, it may have been 19-16 or 18-16 or something like that. And suddenly I saw one thing, that there was a snap and something clicked inside Lakshya's head, and he became more aggressive. Earlier he was trying to extend the rallies, play longer rallies, and playing the patient game, that waiting for Christie to make a mistake. But suddenly I think he took a conscious decision that no, maybe the more aggressive approach is better. If I'm making long rallies, more often than not I'm playing into Christie's hand, and he's ending up winning a lot of long rallies, majority, not all, because Sen also won a few long rallies, majority. So he changes on the go, makes that decision on the go, and it really works for him. At least that's one thing that I noticed while sitting on courtside. Secondly, there was this point, I think it was on 1920 or something like that, or somewhere around that, 18, 19, I forget the exact point. And there is this moment where he plays that absolute wow inducing shot, where there is the shuttle that's hit really fast that comes and is back, and what he does is at the last moment, does a reverse, whatever, I don't know, reverse back hit. I don't even know what the technical name is. Basically, it was behind him and he just, does that, and it connects and he wins that point. And the crowd went crazy. It was a packed house here at the Arena de La Chambre where I am. And, Arena La Chapelle is where I am. Apologies, because I've been traveling to multiple venues and I kind of forget where I am. This is the badminton arena. The crowd went crazy at that moment, and I think from there on, Christie's confidence took a beating, and you saw second game, one-way traffic. Lakshya was, controlling all of it. I think there are three factors that worked in Lakshya's favor today. One, I think, is hand speed. So every time they exchanged a few rallies, especially when they're in the center of the court, the quick ones where you need quick reflexes, I think those are the areas that Lakshya really stood out, to his fast hands. Secondly, as I said, the aggressive intent, which just kicked on towards the end of the first game, that was the second area where he did well, and his superior net play, I thought. Though Christie was also very good with his net play, but I thought slight edge to Lakshya. These three factors are the reasons why he's now moved into the pre-quarter finals. Who awaits him at the pre-quarter finals? Could be a certain Prannoy. Still has to play a game, but he's the odds-on favourite to make it. It could be a Prannoy waiting, so it could be an all-India pre-quarter finals. Not ideal, because you had wanted your two Indian shuttlers to go forward. But the other advantage is that 100% there's going to be one that's going to be making the quarters at least. So that's the other way of looking at it. But I think it's interesting for India. It's great because, I have a feeling that Prannoy Lakshya could be a 50-50 game, because they know each other's game. So it could be a 50-50 game. And I think Lakshya had a better chance of beating Christie. Had Christie beaten Lakshya, then I think, because I'm just looking at matchup, then I think Christie had a better chance of beating Prannoy. So for India, it wouldn't have been good if Christie beat Lakshya, because then I would have given Christie the edge against Prannoy. Just looking at their matchup. But I think the one area you could knock Christie out from that draw would have been Lakshya. He's done that, which has ensured two Indians in the pre-quarter final. So I think it's worked out really well for the Indian badminton contingent, if I was to see it that way. From there on, if you quarters, one of them is definitely going to make it. Two more wins and you're in the gold medal match. One win, you're in the semi-final, very close to a bronze. So who knows, a badminton medal may not be too far away. Victor Axelsen is going to be there in the semi-final, the top seed. So that's not going to be easy. But yeah, you'll have to beat the top guys to win a medal. So that's the future path for the Indian shuttlers. From the men's badminton side, we've never seen an Olympic medal. Who knows, this could be that Olympic Games. For the moment, do give us a like if you enjoy our content. Share it with your other sport-loving friends. If you guys are debating about, what Lakshya did right, what he did wrong, maybe share this video and then you can have a further chat with your friends. And subscribe to Sports Today if you haven't already. All updates from Paris continue. Nikhil Nas for the moment, signing off. Bye-bye.